Hi guys, so I ended up getting a 5080 round about, I want to say 2 to 3 weeks ago. I got it on the 9th of June, so I've had it for just under 2 weeks now. And the card's been pretty interesting. I will say that the card hasn't performed badly, haven't had any driver problems. I've actually tested the card now with two different drivers, both being the latest NVIDIA drivers at the time. And honestly, the performance has been pretty much the same with regards to my current gaming, which is mainly Counter Strike, um, which I play during my free time, and I just haven't really found single player games that interesting. So in all honesty, guys, I've just not been testing it in single player games, so I really couldn't tell you how it performs compared to my card. But what I can do is I can give you some math that'll show you because I've actually gone ahead and done some Port Royal benchmarking, and I've dialed in settings and made sure everything's good to go. And ended up finding out that my card is compared to my last card at least, with the best overclocking I could do on either sample. Without doing anything crazy like anything exotic, just like regular cooling and stuff like that. The best result I could get with my new card is significantly higher. Now I will say caveat: I'm using a worse CPU over here, and I'm using slower RAM. So caveat, I'm using 4900K now, and I've got my RAM tuned to 8000, and it's pretty damn stable at 8000 with this CPU because the IMC is a bit better. So definitely a slight advantage here with this setup, but I would say at least 60% has to be on the GPU. So we're talking about at least 60%, guys. At least 60%. It's really not bad. Um, I was actually expecting less than 60%. I thought it was much closer to like 50%, but no, it's practically 60%. And honestly, guys, one problem with my current card is I, for some reason, can't get the card to utilize more than 360 watts. I don't know why. I think it's something up with it. I have no idea. It can't be the card can't be broken. It can't be faulty. I don't know what the problem is, but for some reason it doesn't hit the BIOS limit, which I don't get it. I emailed MSI, didn't get much help from them, so I don't know. It is what it is. But card runs fine. Everything's good. No bugs, no crashes, nothing. It's all set. I've only had like one problem, which is where if you were playing Counter Strike with the Steam overlay open, and for example, if your AC load line on the CPU wasn't set high enough, you would actually have a crash. You'd have like a lockup, which I verified with other friends of mine that play Counter Strike who also have Raptor Lake CPUs. So I actually found out the reason my ship was locking up was because I had my AC load line too low. So I fixed that problem. Actually, the problem was that I had the current limit too high with respect to AC load line. So like I dropped the current limit, which allowed me to keep AC load line lower. But whatever, that's neither here nor there. But anyway, so that problem is gone, and the CPU's been running fine too. But this card's been great, man. I don't know. I've got no problem with it. I think it runs really well. Power draw's pretty much been the same as my last card, with the undervolt profile. And funny enough, guys, if I actually show you 3D Mark, I can show you. So the undervolt profile is this one, um, and man, like you'll notice something. This is average. Now I'll tell you guys. You'll be like, oh well, see, undervolt's still doing like worse than average. Like average, no, 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 guys. This is not stock. And I'll show you why this is not stock. Because if I go to the results, like let me go to load, and I'm gonna go to results, and you'll see the 9th of June when I got the card. This is where I started testing the card over here. This is my first result with the 5080 was 21466. Now, what was this result? This was my 5080 stock with the power limit on, right? With the power limit on, maxed, so like 105%. Um, it was basically this profile with 105%, 0, 0, and max voltage. Why 0, 0? I needed a baseline number before I would start overclock the memory. So I actually know I'm getting more performance because to overclock the memory, guys, you need to verify that you're actually getting more performance. If you're not getting more performance, your memory overclock is actually hitting ECC, which means it's erroring and it's actually getting slower. So you want to make sure memory overclock is actually getting more performance. So you have to verify each time you change the slider. So I go up in clock steps rather I go up in offsets of 250. So yeah, but I needed baseline numbers. So before I established my overclock profile on the card, I had to max voltage, max power, because I'm keeping those max for the overclock profile, and then I'm 0, 0 for baseline, and I change the fan curve, obviously, just to make sure it's running like I would use it in practical use. But yeah, 21466, guys. Now, also, one other caveat is that this wasn't fixed. I'll show you guys this profile inspector, and if I go to, yeah, rebar enable. So Jay's 2 cents spoke about these on a video recently they made, and it kind of refreshed my memory. But I was like, nah, my friend told me that this has been addressed by Nvidia like a long time ago. I was under the impression they fixed this like a year ago. Apparently not. This is a problem. I could not believe it. Like, I'll show you guys what my results were looking like in the historical data, so you guys will see some stuff here. I'll show you guys that if you see where I began, 21466, I'm like, damn, this is a pretty weak result. I'm like, damn, that's like max voltage, max power limit, no offsets, but like 21466, I'm like, dude, this is bad. Like, surely like something's going on here. And I also had to fix my 3D Mark. My 3D Mark wasn't recognizing the card. I actually had to reinstall it to actually get the 3D Mark app to recognize the 5080 I had, because the 3D Mark GPUs list that it has basically like bugged out if you didn't reinstall it, and then I had to go ahead and reinstall it to make sure that my results were actually reflecting on the server and stuff like that. Otherwise, it would just show like unknown device whatever on the GPU side. So anyway, but I ended up just going through it. So I kept upping the memory slider, whatever. I kept going. Obviously, I tried some offsets that were too high, so I could crash on the core. Like, this is when I would get to like the core overclocking, and then I would like crash, when I went too high, or whatever. Okay, so kept going, and then magically I came across the J video, and I'm like, why don't I try to this? Well, this is undervolting. I believe. I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Whatever. Something. I don't know. Who cares? Anyway, found out about that whole thing, and I'm like, dude, I can't believe it. I end up scoring my best results somewhere over here, and this is the best one, 24778. That's with rebar fixed, right? Rebar manually enabled, fixed, and with plus 435 on the core slider and plus 1500 on the memory slider. And I tested everything. I made sure I would go back and forth on the memory to see if I could use plus 1750. No, can't do it. 1500 is the way. That's the max I can do on my max voltage overclock on the card. And plus 435 was the most, like, that was the highest stable offset I could do. Card runs at like 3.195 gigahertz, so like 3195 megahertz in Port Royal. Might peak about, just about 332 in some cases, but typically about 3195. Okay, so my card crashes right above 3.2 gigahertz, but it can run just around like 3.2, just like under it. So it runs fine there. And for daily use, I can run 3.18, so like 3180 megahertz. Funny enough, I think because they changed the clock stepping to 7 to 8 megahertz, it actually makes it easier for you to get closer to your max overclock on the offset. So, for example, where plus 435 is like borderline stable, kind of unstable, plus 420 is fine for everything. And I use plus 420 on my undervolt as well for daily use. So on the 875 millivolt limit that I use plus 420, and I get to about 2.76 gigahertz in Counter-Strike and benchmarks and whatever else. So it runs pretty well. And it's funny that my undervolt actually scores very close to what some people's 5080 score with a like minor overclock, because like, dude, I don't think you guys understand how bad that is. Like, dude, 24778 divided by the score I showed you guys, which was like what, 21466, dude. That's terrible. Like, do you guys understand how bad that is? That's 15% right there. That's all you got to do to get 15% is fix the rebar bug, like via NVIDIA Profile Inspector, and overclock the freaking card, and there you go. Problem solved. 15 freaking percent, dude. It's right there. Look at it. It's right there in front of you. Like, look at it, dude. And reviewers are saying how bad the 5080 is. Oh my gosh, it's so slow. It's so slow. Dude, no wonder the 5080 is not faster than the 4080 because dude, like 15%, bro. 15%. Do you understand how crazy that? It's insane. That is insane. Like, it's a different product basically. Honestly, Like, think about if I hadn't overclocked it, right? Or like if I hadn't fixed the rebar problem. Because I think I actually had the rebar thing fixed over here because I recall like I stopped using Profile Inspector because I thought it was fixed. It wasn't fixed. That's insane. So if I compare it to my best 4070 Ti result, 40%, dude, that's pathetic. 40% is nothing. And I've compared now to my current result, and this is far more respectable. Far more respectable. So anyway, guys, 5080's been pretty good. You have to overclock the card. There's tons of headroom. It's insane amounts of headroom. Like, dude, my undervolt performs better than my card at stock with no rebar fix. Like, that's crazy. Like, just mind-boggling. Like, just how? Anyway, um, and yeah. So 5080 is good. You have to overclock the card, otherwise your performance is gonna suck. And otherwise, I haven't any problems with the card. The card's been fine. Driver's been fine. Only only thing I will say is apparently the GPU scaling seems to be kind of weird. For some reason, I recall that GPU scaling looked a lot less artifacty on the 4070 Ti, but I don't know. I might be wrong. But otherwise, been good. Card's been fine. Performs well, and yeah, I would say definitely go out and buy one if you wanna, a decent GPU for the money. I don't think they're a bad value, considering that you're getting free performance for like the same money. They didn't up the price compared to 4080 Super, so I mean $1,000, and yeah, you're getting like 20% performance. Now, yeah, granted, you have to overclock the card, otherwise you're not gonna get performance. But yeah, overclock the card, and you'll get like 25% performance gains over the previous 80 class card, and yeah, I think it's fine. Efficiency is good. I think it draws less power than 4080, so yeah, I recommend the card. I think it's fine. I don't see a problem with it. I think the reviewers reviewing the card at stock is just, I mean, it's, I guess you have to, but man, like, I don't know, something weird went on there. I have no idea why the card is so underpowered at stock, but hey, man, it is. So otherwise, guys, hope you have a good day further, and yeah, that's about it.